You know, my name suggests that I'm Nick Cage's greatest fan, which I am, by the way. So why didn't I start the channel with a video of a Nicolas Cage movie? Well, one, it's predictable, and two, I just didn't feel like it. But that changes today with this video. I also didn't know which Cage movie to do first, as I love a lot of them, and also there's a lot of trash that's infinitely made better just by him being in said trash. I had so many to pick out that I just decided to wait a little until I've made a few other videos, and I did. I decided and go with one of his most recent movies, Dream Scenario. A24 is one of, if not the biggest indie studio out there, and I highly respect them, allowing films that wouldn't have been made or shown anywhere else outside of a few cinemas and distributing those who are independently made to the world, and this one is no different. Released in late 2023, with it getting really good reviews, Dream Scenario is about Paul Matthews, a literal nobody, and if you met him in real life, then you would probably be bored until you would fall asleep. So basically, he is a bore. He is a teacher, has a family of one wife and two daughters, and throughout this movie, he's writing a book. The character of Paul is all about how an average Joe turns into a celebrity. I think this movie does a pretty good job of making Paul sympathetic while showing his own faults in the situations he's put in. This is greatly shown in his apology video in the movie. It's completely self-centered and smells of someone who's being a bit too arrogant about the whole thing. Then again, everyone else isn't morally good either. They spray paint his car, villainize him, and are completely disrespectful to the guy when he doesn't do anything and doesn't control anything. They're hostile towards him even when he technically doesn't do anything. But then again, nightmares like that are pretty terrifying. You can't wake up when you want to, and worse, there's a bald guy that's trying to kill you. Before it all goes downhill, he gets famous and gets a chance to publish his book, but it's shown he's not the one getting famous, so to speak, but rather his dream version, the fictional Paul Matthews. At the end, there's a fake commercial of a wristband that puts commercials in your dream based off the tragedy that involved Paul, which directly references the accident in the commercial, which in my opinion could stand for companies taking famous people, trends, or anything really and commercializes them and make them corporate. It doesn't matter if there's a tragedy behind it. If it sells, they will use it. At least, that's from my perspective. But that's really the amazing thing about movies. Everyone has a different perspective. The only characters I would call morally gray or even good is Paul's wife and his friend who lets him stay in his house. There's also this character that has minor screen time, played by Michael Cera, who's in talks with Matthews to publish his book. But he doesn't care about Paul's book. He only cares about Paul's new celebrity status. Even when it goes horribly wrong, he still goes with the motion, still by his side, only to sell a few copies and get some money. At the end, he completely overhauls Matthew's book to fit in people's new perspective on Paul. While Michael Cera isn't a big part of this movie, I still think he did a pretty decent performance. The movie itself feels like a dream, and I'm not talking about just the dreams in said movie, I mean just the movie as a whole. The music and how it's shot oozes charm, and I would say it's one of the movies that captures and comes close to replicating an actual feel of a dream. And even though they're just short and sprinkled throughout, the dream and nightmare sequences are the highlights. Seeing Nicolas Cage just being a bald Freddy Krueger was cool to see. Also, something that doesn't surprise me, Nicolas Cage is incredible in this movie. he does this weird voice that is just perfect for the character. I mean, almost every Cage performance is a banger, so again, I wasn't surprised or anything. I also love that he's taking more roles in independent made movies, and the guy seems to be doing decent after a long time of doing garbage straight to DVD movies, which in fact I have seen almost every single one of those straight to DVD garbage movies. And they're not really that good, so I'm happy for the guy. Back to the score for a little bit, it's fantastic and I love it. It isn't something I would regularly listen to, but it does enhance the movie, the scenes. It does that perfectly. All in all, Dream Scenario is one of my favorite Cage movies and has one of my favorite performances of him. It's standing number 2 on my list of Nicolas Cage movies, my ranking. So yeah, it's really good. I loved it, not as much as I saw it the first time around. I rewatched it for this video, but I don't know. It has some pacing issues, so yeah, I didn't really like that. Doesn't make the movie any less worse. But yeah, I recommend watching it if you haven't already, so watch it. Also, Nicolas Cage is hot.